Okay, I'm coming to you live from the farm truck. The last time I went live from the car, people asked if I was driving. I am not driving. I have not been cleared to drive. I still have my handy dandy chauffeur, my partner in crime. You see my wheelchair back there? Yes, that's my wheelchair. We broke out of the house this morning because I'm stir crazy. I don't think I can do a lot of walking, a ton of walking yet. So we brought the wheelchair because like our anniversary is the 17th, which is like getting kind of close. And I wanted to just go do a little looking around. So I sit pretty good. So my husband's going to push me around a little bit today. And we're just going to do a little bit of window shopping while it's cool this morning. So I just wanted to give a little bit of an update. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Katina. I just want to just let you know that I am very sore. They did pull the drains. That has made me even more sore than I realized that it would. I thought that once some drains were gone, the soreness would improve, but not so much. I'm even sore. Is that a word? I'm even more sore now that some of the drains are gone. I've also found a stitch on the right side that is kind of sticky. So that has been a new kind of thing. Let's see. What other complaints do I have today? What else have you been listening to me grab about, dear?
Me.
Him. You got a lot of complaints about him. Let me tell you. There's just, the list is so long. It's like writing out your Christmas list. You know, once you've been married as long as we have, the complaints are long complaints about your mate. Okay, so if you don't want to hear about bodily functions, you may want to skip over this part because it's probably going to be TMI, too much information. Okay, so we have banned the dogs from the bedroom. So I don't know when you've been married as long as us, and if you can't jump from the bed, or maybe you just don't care anymore at this stage of the game. You know, gas happens. I don't know about y'all, but gas happens. But fortunately, with big mastiff dogs, if gas happens, you can blame the dog, and it usually works for you. However, the dogs are banned from the bedroom, so that doesn't really work. So let's just say one of us had a little gas last night, and the other one of us wasn't so nice about it and had to like point it out, saying how their nose was so assaulted, and just make this huge to-do about it, as in like I've never been assaulted by them before in this entire 28 years of marriage. So yeah, so that's one of my complaints about him this morning. Let's see, what other complaint do I have today? Oh, he did a better job on my hair today, so I can say thank you to that. But I guess it's all my complaints today. And if that's all I got to complain about, praise the Lord. Amen. Because I'm doing good. Okay, so let me pick up on where I left off on my testimony about how I got to where I am today. So I was talking to you yesterday about, we were in a holding pattern for the surgery consults. I had seen one surgeon already, and they wanted to do the biopsy with 30 rounds of radiation. Not the biopsy, the lumpectomy with 30 rounds of radiation. I also felt like that's kind of where Brian wanted to go. I think he wanted to go there, however, because he wanted me to have less surgery. He wanted my recovery to be quicker, those kinds of things. I also don't think he was fully informed about the effects of radiation on the body. That radiation can only be given to you so much throughout your lifetime. So if I ever had to have radiation again, there would be a limited amount I could get. And really the side effects of radiation. when they give you those options, they don't lay all that out to you fully. They try to make it sound really good. It's way less surgery, and this is a really good option, and the statistics are good. And I just didn't feel like they were rowing my boat, for lack of better words. And I had such perfect peace that had come over me, that the Lord had given to me from the very beginning, a year ago, that is completely unexplainable. But whenever they would start talking to me about this lumpectomy and radiation, I could feel that ripple and that peace. So I felt like that was not for me. So I'm telling you, he's getting into some traffic right now, and I'm feeling some ripple right now. Okay, back to the story. So with that, I got this text message from a doctor I know, and she said, Lynette, be sure that you go to a breast surgeon, not just a general surgeon. I had not been told that. And I texted her back, and I'm like, well, like, do you know any breast surgeons? Do you recommend any breast surgeons? I don't know anything about this. And she said, we're texting back and forth, and she said, well, I know that in Waxahachie, associated with Texas Oncology, which is who I'm seeing, Dr. Encarnacion, who I do love, there are some breast surgeons associated with them, and you should check that out. So I hopped online and I started looking them up, and I found Katrina Birdwell. I thought, this is my girl. She is my girl. I did a lot of research on her. She's won the Susan B. Komen Award. She was top surgeon last year. She's cutting edge. So I'm like, this is who I want to see. So I told my oncologist, I said, this is who I want. He looked her up in the system. He said, I've never heard of her, but she looks great. That's who you want to see. We'll refer you. Well, I kind of started calling around to her office trying to find her, and they said there was no Katrina Birdwell here. We have a Dr. Emmett. I don't want Dr. Emmett. I want Dr. Birdwell. Well, my doctor's office evidently found her, and I got a call from her office, and they say, this is Dr. Birdwell's office. And I'm like, well, where are you? They're like, well, we're in Dallas. I'm like, Dallas? Okay, I'm game. So we go up, and we see her for the first time. Well, come to find out, Dr. Emmett was Dr. Birdwell. She had gotten married. She is from the Hillsboro area. She grew up there, she said, until 3rd grade. She went to Itasca schools. She is a homebody to me. She is like in our area. She's homegrown, I like to say. And she is so personable. She spent 2 hours with us the first day about. She went over everything in my chart. She hugged me. She talked to me. She listened to me. And then she asked me, what do you want to do? And why do you want to do it? No suggestions, no anything. Just what do you want to do and why? So I told her, I said, I want to have a double mastectomy because I had a spot last year, controversial. I have a spot this year, hands down, cancer. 10 years ago, I was told that I had paraneoplastic syndrome. I have peace right now, but I've lived in fear. I don't want to live in fear anymore. And she said, I have to explain every option available to you, but if I were you, I would be doing the exact same thing. And I knew right then she was in the same boat. And that peace, there were no ripples. It was steady peace across the board. She went over everything. She covered why radiation would be an option and why we might not want that option. She covered pros and cons of a single mastectomy, pros and cons of a double mastectomy. She covered all of those things with me. We then talked about, I wanted, not gonna lie, I thought I wanted some reconstruction, and and I thought I would do a flap procedure. That's using your own fat. They bring it up and they make your breast out of your tummy tissue. There's a whole lot of criteria for that. And I just knew that was going to work because we had lost so much weight starting at the beginning of 2018, I fit into the criteria perfectly now. Before, I would not have fit into the criteria. So I thought, I thought because I fit into the criteria now, that must be what God wanted for me. Because why else would I fit into the criteria? So she referred me to another doctor, Dr. Habash, in her office, and he was really good. Very soft-spoken, so opposite of me. And he examined me. He did everything, and he said, well, I only have one concern. You've had a previous abdominal surgery, which I had when I was less than a year old, and it left a scar about this long on my abdomen on the right-hand side. He said, that could cause us a little problem. He said, so we're going to do some scanning. We're going to do some stuff. We're going to make sure that your graft would take. Because if not, we don't want rotten tissue. Because then that would just be horrible. I mean, you'd have to take all of that off, and then it would just be bad. So I'm like, gonna be okay. We've done all this. We've jumped through the hoops, done everything, right? God's got this. Well, I remember he hooked us up for the scan, and we went in for the scan. Whoop, bump. We went in for the scan, and the morning of the scan, I got up, and I just felt like the Lord told me, it's not going to work. And I knew in my heart, he was preparing me for a fail. They also did an abdominal scan that at the same time, it wasn't just for my belly fat. It showed everything. It showed my ovaries. It showed my tubes. It showed everything inside of there. So somewhere in my mind, Satan started whispering again. You know, he has a way. Even when you have perfect peace, he can wiggle in and he can whisper. And he did. He started whispering in my ear, hey, what if you have ovarian cancer? Hey, you know, that goes along with breast cancer sometimes. What if that's going on down there? And even though I had peace, I had doubt. So I got really concerned. Not afraid, but concerned about that scan. And the night before we were going to get the results of the scan, the Lord woke me, and I knew I wasn't going to have reconstruction. Because I remember waking up and looking on the door of my closet, and I have a hanger there where I hang my clothes usually of what I'm going to wear the next day. And I remember seeing the strapless summer dress that I have, and I felt like the Lord said, wear that dress tomorrow because you're not going to wear it anymore. And to me, that was, well, you can't hold up a strapless dress without, something on the top. So most likely not going to get reconstruction. So that's where I was when we went in for the appointment. I had not shared that with Brian. I hadn't said anything about it, but I had that inside of my mind. And that is where I sat, waiting for the results. You have ovarian cancer. You are not going to get reconstruction. And all of these things in my ear. So we sat there and we waited for Dr. Habash to call our name. And we waited to find out the results of that scan and if reconstruction was even going to be possible. And that's where I'm going to leave you today. And I'll pick back up tomorrow at Dr. Habash's appointment. All right. Go love your families. Put Christ first. And try to reconcile with someone in your life. God's forgiven us of so many things. Maybe we should think about forgiving others. Doesn't mean forgetting. but it means forgiveness. All right, love y'all. Talk to you tomorrow.